Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The roll call, I've got everybody. Yeah.
Reports. Police.
Give you an update, the cars are in, they're upfitted, that was all paid for by a grant, those are gonna be operational here. One is operational already, the other one will be operational probably tomorrow, so that's a good thing. Also, we applied for another grant to get more equipment and to reimburse us for some of the other expenses. So I'm hoping that we'll find out about that in the next few weeks.
Very good. Treasurer. We already had that, I believe, haven't we? Anything you'd like to say?
Anybody have any further questions for me?
Think so. Code zoning, yeah, that's specific.
Yep, it should be in your packet there.
Oh, okay. Like it primarily zoning.
Yep.
Two permits. Total of 18,100. B was 150, is that correct?
Yep.
You don't have an engineer here. Manager's report?
Few different things to go over, probably the most important, I feel like I've been making a lot of videos lately and I feel a little bad about that. Just because people are being subjected to my face. But, you know, one of the, probably the most important thing that's happening is tomorrow, we're advertising for bids, for the paving project we discussed last week. So the first ad is going out tomorrow, then the next ad is next week. And then we have a date set to open the bids, which I did not write down, and I feel a little bad about, but I just can't remember. But, you know, I'm gonna have Troy from PennDOT, our municipal services rep, up here to open the bids with us. But this is for paving work on Smithson. So this is essentially Morse to Iroquois Avenue, and then skip over Iroquois to Main, because that section's actually pretty good. But then Main all the way up to Bell Street. For Smithson. Then for Dobbins, that's gonna actually be from, it's Lake Cliff and then all the way to Joliet. So it's past the park there. Howe Avenue Extension. So Howe Avenue Extension, it's a, you know, really small chunk of road, it's been neglected for a long time. So that's included here as part of this project. And then Crotty Drive. Not Crotty Drive Extension, Crotty Drive, you know, from Emmett to Morse. So, you know, that is, I don't know, I'm pretty excited about it. To be honest, you know, and we did make a video. We're gonna actually let that go out to the public tomorrow. Just letting folks know that we are going out to bid for those projects. And we anticipate getting several bidders. I would anticipate we will, and then, you know, we'll have something next month. That's probably the biggest thing. Just seeing if there's anything else I want to actually talk about here today. The only other thing I would mention, I mentioned it earlier during the work session, but I'll mention it again. I followed up on the streetlights. So the township is getting all new streetlights as part of a project with Penelec. So you're able to, you know, essentially make a deal with them where they're going to replace all of the streetlights in the township with LEDs. They're going to be contacting us later this summer for designing them. So that's essentially like picking what color and then how bright they're going to be, that sort of thing. That'll be later in the summer, and then they're supposed to start installing them in like August and September. And they have told me they plan to be done in September. So that is also pretty exciting. You know, we did also get a few grants here as well. The stamp grant, which is I've been waiting on for a very long time. Finally came through. We were able to sign that. And that grant's for about $90,000. And that's going to allow us to do quite a few things. Primarily though, at this juncture, what we're going to use it for is to investigate our bookkeeping, to, look through our accounting and then actually work with a professional accounting firm for the next 3 years approximately. This will pay for 3 years of that. And then the other thing we're going to be looking at is this building. So, we do have tenants in this building. We have the MDJ, and then we, currently have the state police, but we are hoping to get an additional tenant on the second floor. And one of the things we need to do is address several issues in this building. So that's primarily what the grant is sort of allocated for. And it is just the first round of this grant. It's actually a 4-part grant, so we'll keep going for additional monies after we satisfy this one. And that is it for me. I think we do have Zamaria.
Commissioner?
Yeah, I was hoping there's a way that we could make sure that we're monitoring our parks as summer comes, because a lot of kids are being out there, but that also means that a lot of people are gonna be using that place as a hot spot to do drugs and to do other harmful things, just to make sure that our kids are safe while they're out there. Also make sure that we look out for speeders, because, summer's coming up, kids are playing more, and a lot of kids, throw their ball and then it gets in the street, and make sure they don't get hurt. Make sure that the parks equipment is okay, if that makes sense, make sure it's functional and safe for the kids to use. Is there a way to get food trucks for 4th of July for youth, that makes sense, because I feel more instead of selling individual things, food trucks would be beneficial, but I'm not sure how that would work.
Yeah, I mean, it's not impossible. The only issue we have with that is what time and where. There's a few logistical problems with that. Yeah, there's a few logistical issues with that, but we can talk more about it. I'm not, and one thing I will say with regard to food trucks is we do plan to have food at the farmers markets. So, just to satisfy, your food truck cravings. And then we also plan to have them at at least one, probably no more than one at the concerts in Boydie Park.
Okay, I just wanted to see if that'd be a good addition.
Yeah.
I was also wondering if there's a way that we could have more faith-based activities here. I was thinking about the volunteering thing at the park,
Mhm.
having older kids there to watch the younger kids during the summer. I was in fact thinking I could talk to members of NHS at Iroquois and see if they would volunteer for it.
Yeah, please talk to NHS or any other clubs that you're part of or organizations, because I have lots of volunteer opportunities. A bunch. So, we can put anybody that wants to work to work.
Okay, that's good. I was also wondering, if my grandma asked me about this, how do we have a recycling system for the residents here so that they can recycle? Okay, how would that go?
It's through waste management. So, you get your garbage through waste management. Included in that fee is recycling. So folks can recycle. You just need a container that says recyclables.
Oh, do you have to buy your own or?
No, well, yes, but you don't even need a container. You could use a box, right?
Okay,
As long as it's something that's clearly, the trash driver can tell it's recyclables.
Mark, that's it. I don't have much to talk about. No one really said anything to me this month, so.
Good. Thank you. Next time. Very good. Approval of reports, motion to accept as submitted. Could I have a motion and a second?
I'll motion.
A second. Thank you. All in favor? Carried. Bills and payments. Motion to ratify bill payments made during April 2026. Need a motion and a second.
I'll make a motion to pay the bills. Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed. Approval of prior meeting minutes. Motion to approve the minutes of April 8th, 2026. At the meeting. We'll need a motion for that also in a second.
I'll motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Second, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Public comment. No one signed in or checked the block, but if you'd like to speak, you have. Go ahead.
Sorry, I didn't know I was gonna speak.
If you'd like to, go ahead.
Well, all right, I'll make it. My name's Joyce Howe. We live on Friday Drive. And there is a rooster in our neighborhood. He was there last year. And I just like to let you know, they don't cock-a-doodle-doo just in the morning. He cock-a-doodle-doos all day long. In the wintertime, he was gone. I guess whatever happened to him, I don't know. He did come back as soon as the weather got nice and cock-a-doodle-doo all day long. I haven't heard him in a week or so, but, and their yard is not that big. So I'm just wondering if there's some kind of ordinance that you can
Yes.
greatly appreciate.
We're aware of it. I got one behind my house.
Okay,
And I just talked to Spencer before the meeting about this and go ahead, Spencer.
Yeah, no, I mean, as far as, as I'm aware at this point, we do have an ordinance that would potentially cover that. We just need to work with our code enforcement officer to make sure he understands that ordinance and what he can do about it. So it's just something that we've not, we really hadn't experienced, right? And so like, he just wasn't aware of how to do that or what to do about it. And neither were we really. And so we do have some clarification on that because that question did come up to us maybe 6 or 8 weeks ago.
Yeah, we want to.
And we've been working on that. First I thought we needed to draft a new ordinance, so we did that. But then turns out we didn't need to do that. So we just recently got clarification on that. So hopefully we can address it.
okay, would that be for all farmyard animals or just roosters?
It would be for all.
Okay,
If you could let Spencer know or code enforcement know, like where the problem rooster is located.
the
that would be
address.
helpful.
because we had called last year. and,
Gave you the address.
Yeah,
Yeah, if you could just let him know, so that way we know where to send our code enforcement.
4319 Emmett.
Emmett?
Spencer, if Chuck needs help, I can work with him and teach him how to do what he needs to do.
All right.
So you gotta be wise.
Yeah, just have him come talk to me and I'll sit him down and we can show him how to proceed.
okay,
Works
thank
for me.
you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. Old business. Anybody else? Old business. Discussion and possible action regarding bids received for the traffic signal project at Rankin and Iroquois. What,
So I opened we got one bid. I opened it yesterday. So we were originally quoted for that job and then our insurance covered approximately $40,000. We got one bid and the bid was $151,000. So, little more than we anticipated. At this point, we don't have to accept that bid. We can potentially go back out to bid again. And look for additional contractors and try to advertise it a little more. But like I said, we only got the one bidder.
Did you get a phone?
Beacon Electric or Beacon Power. Beacon Power Electrical Contractors. That's the only one we got.
who does it for the city of Mill Creek? Do they have their own department?
We have our own
I believe.
Mill Creek has their own department, but we ordinarily hire RCI Electrical. It's the gentleman who owns it's Jeff Tenney. They did not elect to bid on the job at this point. Again, no preference to any particular contractor. That's just what we've done in the past. But like I said, we advertised the job and it was far more than we were quoted last year for it. So, like I said, the township is not obligated to take the bid just because it was the only bid. And so that's why I say possible action. Don't, like I said, don't have to accept it. I can go back out to bid, whatever you like. Or if you want to make sure the job gets done quickly, you can accept this bid.
I'm gonna make a motion that we reject the bids and rebid.
I'll second that.
Per our conversation that we had today. Before we forward on that, what is the time frame for the rebid? And what, I mean, what are we
Yeah.
looking at? Something
Yeah, if I go as fast as I can to satisfy bidding requirements and
It's
just
the next meeting,
Yeah.
probably.
the next meeting at the earliest, I might be able to get it opened like the day before the meeting. And then, do the bid opening that day and then vote on it, the June meeting. So,
For contracts that exceed, I think it's like 22 or 23,000 now, you have to advertise that you're seeking bids for that. And I believe it's a newspaper once
it's a minimum of once,
a week.
yeah, and then.
And then in order to get it in the paper, you now have to put it in like 72 hours in advance of when you're planning to have it in. It used to be 24. But,
Yeah,
Yeah.
they've just made everything.
and you have to leave it open for like 10 days.
Yes, and it's gotta be 10 days before the day you open it. So there's just a lot of requirements, to advertise that bid. So yes, it would delay any potential project and rebuilding of the traffic signals on Rankin, and Iroquois. But we are coming up to summer where those traffic signals, I would argue, don't matter quite as much. They matter for speeders, but not for the safety of children crossing the road. So that's what I'm thinking about. Again, it's up to you, as a board. Dale has actually made a motion.
We have a
and
motion
Tom-
and a
Tom
second.
seconded.
And just one question on Lydia, is there any stipulation in a bid, like in this situation where it has to be stipulated when the work has to begin? Once the bid is, so it can be any time frame?
Once we open the bids, we have 60 days in which to award the contract.
Is there any way that if we had to, we could extend that to a little bit? That would, or does it have to be done within 60
I think-
days?
No, the work doesn't have to be done in 60 days. We just have to award within 60 days.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Or reject.
Or reject within 60, because oftentimes contractors will only hold their prices for like a 60-day window. And so I think that's consistent with not the MPC, just the general bidding procurement. So.
Would it be a crime if we never replaced it? If it would cost, I mean,
I think we run into issues with PennDOT.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
so-
have to evaluate whether or not you need, sorry, I'm jumping in
No,
on
go
you.
ahead, please.
With respect to traffic signals that are currently installed, in order to cease operating them, you have to do an evaluation of whether that signal is needed or not needed anymore. And PennDOT is part of that process. And once they either say, yep, you can get rid of this, there's a period of time where they wind down and then you can take it out. But if they say, no, you still need this, it's warranted, then it has to stay in. So.
Pretty heavily trafficked area during school times.
Yeah,
When that sun comes down, not having that light there is dangerous in my opinion.
agreed.
I suspect part of the problem is if it's an older light.
Yeah.
To upgrade it, the costs are very.
Yeah, so, and that's, I think that when we got the original quote, it was to replace it with older equipment. And I think the new quote that we got from this place is brand new equipment potentially. So I'm not exactly sure where the disconnect is, but like I said, the quote, the bid as is just, I think I did the math and it's 3.6 times more expensive than we were originally quoted for. And like I said, there is still a motion in a second.
Yeah, look, let's take that motion up right now. We've had a motion, a second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Discussion and possible action regarding the purchase of pumps and hoses for sewer transfer pump.
Yeah, we missed one.
Did I miss one? Oh, yeah, sorry, I jumped ahead. Back up. Discussion and possible action regarding the full-time work schedule under the newly adopted employee handbook, including clarification of whether full-time employment shall be based on 37.5 hours or a 40-hour work week.
I don't have too much to add to this conversation. Essentially, the new handbook outlines that we define full-time employees as those working 37.5 hours. There were several different editions of the past handbook that were unclear. Sometimes they indicated that full-time was a minimum of 40, sometimes 37.5. And because of that discrepancy, there are some issues with, employees who were working 40 hours a week and are now being asked to work 37 and a half hours.
That is the handbook we voted on.
Correct.
This would, if any changes, would be an amendment.
Yeah, essentially we'd be amending the handbook, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, the issue is with the employees is that with the lesser amount of hours, they would be taking on straight time pay cut.
I think that we can address that.
That's would be my next, addressing the situation so that I don't want to see anyone have to lose money, and they're doing an excellent job.
Agreed. As far as, and I've mentioned this before, as far as Tim Cunningham, he's getting the extra 1,000 a week or a month, 1,000 a month.
Yeah.
Because he declined our insurance. And last time when I checked, he was the highest paid employee. I don't see how he gets hurt with that.
Well, you have to look at it this way too. In a lot of companies, they have this program where if there's a wife and a husband or whatever, or spouse or whatever, and they take one person's insurance, they get what would you call it, Lydia, like a rebate or in other words, if this employee decides, okay, well, then I'll just take the insurance, we're gonna end up paying more money than,
Oh, I agree.
yeah,
I
it would
agree.
cost us more.
So I'm in favor.
Yeah.
Of keeping it the way it is. Because I think then Tim's taken care of, regardless of the 37 and a half employee.
Yeah,
That's my feeling.
yeah,
Now, I think later on, we can address, the other point.
yeah. Yeah, I just don't think that should be, part of the consideration on how we address the regular time hours, as far as the pay.
But, I
It
think
shouldn't be, that employee should not be, what's the word I want to use? Penalized, because of that.
Agreed. But I
health
think
insurance.
we can address that. I think it's on here to address that further down the road here tonight. And I have no problem with that.
Yeah, okay,
That would take care of everybody.
good.
Back to the pumps. Well, I guess we should make, I would leave the 37 and a half as it is in the new handbook. And then any future employees will be well aware that's what it's gonna be.
Sure.
And we'll address the current employee.
So we're saying that's a motion to just leave it as written in the handbook.
Is there a motion needed?
Well, if you're leaving it as is, there's
Yeah.
no action.
Yeah,
If you're changing it, then yes.
yeah, okay. So yeah, I suppose we do not need it.
Back to the pumps. Regarding the purchase of pumps, hoses for the sewer transfer pump. Whatever that is.
So, yeah, so we purchased a sewer bypass transfer pump. So essentially what this is, when the lift stations go down, it's a big giant pump that pumps the sewage into the next level. Because lift stations take the sewage from a lower elevation to a higher elevation. And essentially the sewer bypass pump will do the same thing. So if a lift station fails, you can use this pump. Or if you need to do maintenance on the lift station, you can use this pump to have the sewage bypass the station, so you can do work on the station. We have that, but we do need to purchase hoses and different fittings. And that is estimated somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000 to get everything we need.
Comment?
Oh, and I was just gonna say, and for the public's information, the pump is a mobile pump. We do have 3 lift stations, so this would be used for all 3 lift stations in the township.
Not too much else for me to say. The only thing is it was not something budgeted for, so we would just need a motion to go out to purchase those things.
They have a motion to purchase pumps and hoses for the transfer pump.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Second,
I'll second.
all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. This is interesting. Possible action regarding YMCA parcels.
Yeah, so, I told Lydia beforehand, if there's anything I get wrong, feel free to interrupt me. But essentially, you may all remember Lawrence Park, Wesleyville and Harbor Creek, were part of the Erie Suburban Recreation and Development Authority. I think that's what it was.
Yeah, something like that.
But we used to call it the Tri-Community Pool Board, right? And so that organization has dissolved. That authority is no longer active and functional, and it's sort of superseded the amount of time where it could have been sort of invigorated, whatever you want to say.
It still wasn't that.
We
I'm
are.
not going to do that.
Okay, well, all right. But so essentially that authority still has some assets. So it has $600 in cash, and then 3 parcels of land. The 3 parcels of land, I don't know if you want to pass that down. The 3 parcels of land owned by the authority are basically the YMCA's driveway. So there's that little roundabout area, and those parcels of land are technically owned by the authority. They've been leased to the Y for like $1 or something since 1972.
It's a very convoluted.
Yeah, and so what's happening now, the YMCA has been the one maintaining the road there, and doing the work on it and doing the yard maintenance and everything else. Wesleyville has already voted, to essentially transfer, the parcels to the YMCA at no cost to the YMCA.
No cost to Wesleyville.
No cost to Wesleyville, yeah. The YMCA would, be responsible for paying for any, real estate transfers.
Transfers, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, and then Harbor Creek has indicated that they're looking to do the same. I don't know that they voted on it, but one of their supervisors told us that that was their intention. So essentially we have options. You have several different options. They could range from pursuing getting like a feasibility study done and potentially trying to force a sale of the land, all the way to doing what Wesleyville and Harbor Creek plan to do, which would be, again, essentially giving that land to the YMCA. But I think it is important, I will mention, they originally asked that we pay for any real estate transfer, deed transfer or anything required there. I would push back on that and say if the township is going to give them parcels of land, I certainly don't think the township should pay for that. But again, that's the gist. I don't know if really.
Yeah, so I'll add a little additional detail. So Spencer's correct that the authority technically no longer exists. And so to really clean this up, we'd have to go through a longer process than we really need to and involve more expense than we really need to. So from a titling perspective, that's really the big issue with the real estate is having clean title. Technically, to clean it up, we'd have to go through a process, but we're going to take the position that the land has reverted essentially to the 3 municipalities jointly. So in order to transfer the real estate, the first class township code, as well as the second class township code, which applies to, Harbor Creek and also to the borough, their code. There are requirements for how we can transfer real estate. If it's valued at more than $6,000, we have to transfer it to the highest bidder. We can only sell it to the highest bidder. We can do, in some circumstances, transfers to other entities without having to go through that process. Unfortunately, for the first class township, there isn't one of those categories that the YMCA would really fit into that we're comfortable with. So we would need to, because those 3 parcels, I think, are certainly valued in excess of $6,000, technically speaking. Even if you split it, I think 3 ways amongst the municipalities, we do need to get an appraisal of that real estate. Because you can't to know what that value is. Because realistically, we're giving up land that is owned by the township and the taxpayers technically. And so there was concern raised by, one of the parcels is developable where you put a house on it, or sell it for a commercial purpose. So we want to make sure that, we're getting our fair share of it, if you will. So,
I thought initially, when we discussed this, but I think you answered Lydia, we were just, you can have it,
Yeah, that's,
but apparently that's not so.
it's not, I know the general feeling is you just want to give it to them, but we have to make sure, again, if it's valued at more than $6,000, we can't just hand it over.
Okay.
It could be, it's valued at more than $6,000 and the only bid we receive is the YMCA and you guys can sell it to the YMCA. But if it's gonna be less than $6,000, you need an appraisal that says it's less than $6,000.
I guess I'm confused if we sell it for, I mean,
So it's, again, its appraised value is more than $6,000.
okay.
But you can sell it for less, believe me, I had one.
Well, that's my question. So even if it appraises for, considerable amount of money, you
Yeah.
can still sell it for $1.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
So,
Any other thoughts?
Leaving it as is, same situation.
Yes, nothing changes.
yeah,
I think the issue with that is the
they
YMCA,
just want to clean it up.
they want to do work on it and they don't own it. So, that's
Yeah.
sort of their position.
It was a very unclean arrangement. They technically have there was a lease arrangement between the authority and the YMCA relative to the pool and use of these 3 parcels that provided an easement, but it wasn't a recorded easement. So there really is no formal easement or arrangement that they can use the parcels. We haven't cared, but, so they just want to clean it up.
What if somebody comes in and bids higher and it's not the YMCA, are you required to then sell it to them?
He would be required to sell.
I guess that handles that.
So,
So who pays for the appraisal?
well, that was the issue we had during the conversation.
See, I thought, okay, I guess I'm a little confused. Cause I didn't think that was the issue. I thought the issue was who's gonna, okay,
Well, we can talk about it.
yeah. All right. Well, I guess we'll figure it out and then report back.
Well, there was no reason we couldn't go to the YMCA and ask them to handle that.
Yeah.
Got to give it to them. I doubt they'll do it, but
Right.
nobody wants to hurt the wife. I don't want a township for sure. Okay. Consideration of resolution 2620 clarifying the employee leaves balances following the adoption of the new handbook.
Yeah, I can talk about this. So we had employees who had leave balances, that they had accrued, under the past handbook provisions. Under the new handbook, the way they accrue leave is different, but they still have these balances. So I have essentially come up with a policy for how to address those balances, using what I'm calling legacy sick, vacation, and personal leave. Essentially what that would be is they would be banks of leave that they would have to exhaust within a certain amount of time. And then if they exhaust that leave, any future leave would just be under the new policies. So essentially it would be a way to allow employees to retain some of the leave that they had accrued under that prior arrangement, without necessarily losing it. So that is what that is for. Yeah, just to be perfectly clear, don't necessarily have to do this legally. There is no guarantee that folks get any particular benefit from the township. But this was a way I felt was sort of equitable for the employees that have been with us.
You need a motion to go on with that?
I'd need a motion to approve the resolution if you were so moved.
Any comment? Motion to approve. A second, please.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you. Second, thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Consideration of resolution 26-21, appointing a new delegate and alternate to the East County EMS. We have dealt with this before.
Yes. Yeah, so, I it had come to me, essentially, the last time we had appointed an alternate and a delegate, the conversation was that, the preference would be that somebody from the fire department represents, the township in that organization. I was asked to revisit this conversation, so if we do have potential new alternate and delegate, or then, sort of an opportunity to name those folks.
Real quick,
Yes.
there's two resolutions with the same.
Yeah, Lydia.
That was 22.
Yeah, Lydia.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
My bad.
All right.
That's all right.
Any discussion? Any volunteers? Didn't think so. Well, I did talk to Chief Crotty of the fire department. He's willing to be either a delegate or I suppose an alternate. But, and I was trying to relieve Spencer of that extra duty, but I'm also told when I talked to, Mr. Holman out at East County that they're gonna go to a meeting every 3 months,
Yeah, they did mention that.
You said they don't
Talking
have
about
enough
moving to quarterly meeting.
quarterly, rather than they don't have enough business.
Mhm.
So my suggestion would be we leave Spencer there for now. And appoint Mr. Crotty be the delegate. So that if he wants to go, he can have input from the fire department, which I think is proper.
And these meetings are during the day again.
Right, you could do it. I've done it. I've taken it once. Yeah. Tom, you volunteer?
Tom and I would go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did before.
Yeah, I've done it.
I mean.
All right, we're in agreement there, motion to leave,
Yeah, so I guess I would be there.
Chief Crotty's the alternate.
Right.
Okay,
right, I think we'll do that for now.
yeah, we can always look.
Then we can change it. So can we?
I'll motion for that.
Thank you. Second? Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Under new business. Motion to accept the resignation of the township roadmaster. Any comments? Any discussion?
I'll motion.
Thank you. Second?
Second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Scott, discussion and possible action regarding appointment of an interim public works lead. You want to lighten us on that?
Yeah, so I mean, we do still, for the Public Works Department, we did lose somebody this week and we do still need, I need, a point of contact, somebody that, I can work with that can assist in managing, coordinating the part-time employees we use to cut the grass and things like that. So, I am really looking at John Garman to serve in that capacity. That would be my recommendation for him to serve as the Public Works lead on an interim basis until, such time that.
And he would keep you apprised of what they're doing, what they plan to do.
That's the idea, yeah. Mhm.
Has it been discussed with John?
John and I have talked about it. John doesn't have any issues there, nor do any of the employees. I've talked to pretty much everybody in Public Works at this point. There's no necessarily issue. That was what I guess they had assumed was going to happen after my conversations with them. But nothing's official till it's official.
Discussion, so if we're going to appoint him lead, we'll need a motion to do so.
Yeah.
I'll make that motion. Thank you. Second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Carried. Further along, same issue or same person we're discussing here. Mr. Garman. Possible action regarding compensation for the interim public works lead duties. So he would be accepting new responsibilities. And like I stated, we're given we're providing 1,000 to Tim Cunningham and seems to be fair. So what we need to do, I believe here, is compensate Mr. Garman. I realize that 37.5 took away about 6.2%, I think, overall deal. So if we restore that, give him a further raise because of his new position. Does anybody want to come up with a number?
I thought about this a little bit. I think that, it should really be at least 10% from where he currently is. Given what we're asking of him, I think that would be fair.
You're saying we restored the 37.5 issue and
Yeah.
approximately 4% on top of that.
Do we need to have that dollar figure for the motion?
I don't know that we do. I don't know.
We're giving a fixed, I think, percentage.
Okay.
We don't have the dollar number.
Okay.
I don't. I do not have a dollar number, but if we're able to do it, I mean, that is
Sound fair?
yeah.
Dale?
Yeah, would this affect just the one or, getting back to the employee handbook, we have 2 full-time employees right now.
Mhm.
Are you saying that we're just gonna rely to one or are we
I
going
would-
to?
Well, my thinking is,
The other
I'm willing to
employee?
discuss it, but as we're paying Mr. Tim Cunningham the extra 1,000 a month, which is a bargain for us as far as insurance costs go, that makes him the highest paid employee of the department, regardless of what we do for joint Garment. So I don't see where he's been hurt in any way.
Well, I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was making those wages prior to the employee handbook going to 37.5 hours. So if he does go to 37.5 hours, then he's going to be losing that amount of money on the regular time wages, correct?
He would,
So
yes.
that the wages that he would lose with those 2.5 hours per week would be actually, if we do it, your suggestion would be deducted basically from that $1,000 stipend. So he's not benefiting, he's actually losing some of that. So correct me if I'm wrong.
What about,
In other words, he had that prior to
I understand what you're
the
saying.
handbook, reduction of hours.
I understand what
Yeah,
you're saying. But
I'm asking.
again, my thinking is we're giving him 1,000, even if he loses that, 2.5 hours a week? 5 hours of pay, basically. And that's what, about $125, I would guess, somewhere around there, based on his hourly rate, every 2 weeks. But I
Yeah.
don't know how much he's suffering.
Well, let's put this in a hypothetical situation. Let's say, let's use me, say I had that position. And I'm getting the $1,000 stipend right now because I'm not taking the medical. And because if I'm losing 2.5 hours a week now, I may say, I went to hospitalization. So now we have to pay more.
Well, he'd be
So
he'd be
we're actually
nose
losing,
off
you know what I'm
the
saying?
He'd be losing $1,000 to make up about
Well, I
200.
mean, the situation, maybe in I can't speak for that individual, but.
No, I
the
can't.
Family issue changed and where the partner or spouse lost their insurance and now that family does not have any medical insurance. And then
Well, then we have to pay. We
yeah,
have to put them on our insurance.
Sure.
If
So-
that should happen. And I thought, that's my
I
position.
mean, right now, to my understanding and where I've worked in the past, you could still have partners or spouses that both had medical insurance. And then the companies that had the stipend rebate, I'll call it, so that if one partner or spouse went on the other's insurance, they would get that, a percentage of a rebate back in a stipend. But you could still have, which is saving the company at issue money. Otherwise, they could say, well, I want my individual, hospitalization, insurance coverage, and there was,
Well, I think, heard my position, pretty much heard Dale's. Does anybody
Yeah,
else
I
want to make a
I
statement
just
or
hate
a
to see
comment
anybody
here?
lose any
I hear you.
money from what they've been making or any benefits. That's my concern.
I agree. You're talking about a hypothetical situation, but with the loss of the roadmaster, does his duties change? And have they increased at all? I mean, are they, what has his job?
Potentially, but I would say that, that is something we're still figuring out. Probably the best way for me.
To be specific, you're talking about, not John Garman, the other employee.
Yes.
Okay,
Can we consider grandfathering the current employees with the 40-hour and making the 37.5 going forward with any new hires?
Yeah, so,
So nobody currently employed gets a pay cut?
yeah, I mean, that'd be revisiting,
We already.
I'm asking a question.
I mean,
Yeah.
Discussed that.
We already
We already agreed that the handbook says 37.5.
anything's, possible.
Has said employee voiced an actual concern to you?
To me, no. To me, I am told that he has voiced that concern to other individuals. I'm just reporting what, has been reported to me directly.
Well, in order to move along.
Yeah.
Let's put that on hold for right now. Let him, if it's a problem for Tim Cunningham, let him come forward and state his problem. And then we can discuss it at that point. But I think we already said the 37.5 staying in the handbook, then that would apply then to new employees. Would be a question whether it's 37.5 or 40, correct?
I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm all about saving money for the township too, you know, as I'm watching it, but I just trying to do things which are fair for everyone, so we have a win-win situation, basically.
I agree,
Yeah.
but I think that's something we can discuss further. Moving along,
So do we still want to give John Garmer a face?
I'll motion for the 10%.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Uh,
Aye. Opposed? Carried. Going to gets 10%. Possible action regarding a proposed easement to Penelec for the servicing of power line. What's that about, Spencer?
Penelec approached us. They are asking for an easement, to essentially, it's places where power lines already exist. They are asking for an easement so that they can work on them and essentially rebuild them. The areas where these are over the creek, north of the footbridge. There are power lines there already, if you can kind of picture it on Water Street. And then the other areas behind our garage, on Bell Street, there are power lines up there too. Penelec contacted me. They said that they would like, the township to consider granting an easement so that they can go in there and rebuild those lines. That is what they've communicated to me. I don't know if Lydia, if you had any concerns.
So look at it completely. I mean, the one easement does go over top of our building.
Yeah, it does look to go over.
Yeah, so I want to
over the
confirm
building.
that. I also want to, I'm not opposed to an easement from them, obviously, because it's already there, but like what's already there versus like what they're adding on to it.
Yeah.
And arguably you're entitled to compensation in granting an easement, so not necessarily a ton of money, but you don't have to give them an easement for free.
Fair enough.
So.
Is that what? Yeah, well, I would say we can, hold it, you know. I would
Table
say
it for now.
Yeah.
We get Lydia to researches it. Fair. Discussion relative to possible action regarding a request to rent the sand volleyball court.
shouldn't be anything too big of a deal here. The new policy for park rental, there were two parks that I asked that the commissioners get an opportunity to vote on, the sand volleyball court and Emerson Field. So we had the folks that have been using the sand volleyball courts for their volleyball league for the past several years. They're just applying for it again.
Is there any insurance issue there, any liability?
They've given us, in the past, their insurance and liability forms. So I don't really anticipate any issue there. But I did, indicate that we put it before the board before we granted their rental.
Any comment on that?
I'll make a motion to approve it.
Second. You made a motion to approve. I need a second.
Oh, second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Now, resolution 2026-22, recognizing and supporting America 250.
Yeah, so this is pretty straightforward as well. So essentially, the state of Pennsylvania has come up with a form resolution. I didn't draft this myself. This comes from the state, showing the municipalities' general support for the semi-centennial, I don't remember the exact word, but the 250th anniversary of the founding of the nation. This is something that lots of municipalities have passed this exact form resolution. Lots of municipalities in Erie County have passed this form resolution. It is, again, just showing general support. It doesn't obligate the township to any kind of funds or anything like that. But it is something we would give to the America 250 committee that they can add to their list of municipalities in support.
A couple months ago, Cheryl Smith brought up money. Have you looked into getting money for the?
I apologize if I didn't discuss that earlier. I did mean to. We did submit that application. We did get a grant through Erie County Gaming and Revenue. So thank you for bringing that up to us. But we did get that grant. It was less than I'd hoped for. We received $5,000, which is certainly better than nothing, way better than nothing. But
5,000.
it's not exactly as much as I had originally hoped for, but again, much better than nothing. And we thank ECRA certainly for their support there.
So therefore, if everybody approves, let's make a motion to recognize and support America 250. Motion?
I'll motion.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. I don't think we have a need for an executive session.
I don't think so.
Somebody knows something I don't. Before I get a motion to adjourn the meeting at 6:52 PM.
I'll motion.
Thank you. Second? Second. Thank you.